Brought to you by My 11 Circle. Win first prize SUV car. Download the app now.
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Sachin Tendulkar.
Very good afternoon now to all of you, and your reception here for Sachin Tendulkar was good, but the man who's here, he's not good. He's great. So you'll have to up the ante. Thank you. So what I'll do is I'll get your juices flowing. Just a few lines that I wrote about him. Maybe that'll get your juices flowing, and you'll bring the house down to just introduce him, because his career, sledging him was a tactic that bowlers regret. His dismissals forced all of us to shut our TV sets. He made it to, at a very young age of 16, made it to the Indian squad. He started off as a young prodigy, but he retired as a god. So come on, give him a round of applause, guys. Okay. Sachin, first thing I want to tell you is that, and I think I speak for everyone present in the house, that we miss you a lot. We miss those straight drives, those cover drives, those dancing down the wicket to the spin bowlers, even fast bowlers. I mean, to a great extent, I even miss the mannerism, you crouching before every ball, you nodding your head before every delivery. Those became part of our routine, just as they were part of your routine. And what I want to know is, how much do you miss cricket? We miss you. How much do you miss cricket? Do you watch a lot of it now? Do you have the temptation that I'll just pick up the bat and do some shadow practice? Any of that happens with you?
First of all, a big congratulations to India today on completing 20 years. This conclave is something really, really special. And when you guys came over to invite me, I felt really nice. It's always nice to be here in front of all of you. Jaisa mera introduction hua hai, I thought I would just have a sip of water and settle down. It was like going out there in the middle to bat.
That's what we wanted to
settle down everyone and then start speaking. Usne expectations bahut raise kar diye pehle se hi. But I remember, I saw Harbhajan saying for the first time in Mohali. This was in the mid-90s. And somebody had told me, Bhaji, ye दूसरा बहुत अच्छा डालता है. So I said, दूसरा मुझे पता है मगर क्या exactly, उसको बुलाओ नेट में. So he came and Bhaji was bowling to me for the first time. So after bowling every delivery, instead of going back to his run-up, he would kind of walk up to me and say, Ji, and then he would go back. I kept wondering, what is happening? So after some time, Bhaji got in the team, and took him about a couple of years to open up with me and speak to me, joke around. Then he said, Bhaji, ek aapse baat karni hai. I said, well, yeah, the first time I was bowling to you in Mohali. I said, I used to come and stand there all the time. And aap puchte the mujhe kya hai? And I used to say, nahi, kuch nahi. And I used to go back. तो उस समय वो आपकी जो आदत थी वो आज मुझे पता चली कि ना बिफोर फेसिंग एवरी बॉल यूज्ड टू एडजस्ट योर हेलमेट एंड यू वुड डू दिस. तो भजी आता था और मेरे सामने खड़ा रहता है, जी पाजी ऐसे क्या चाहिए, नहीं कुछ नहीं करके वापस जाता था. दैट वाज आवर फर्स्ट इंट्रोडक्शन.
Your mannerisms, he took time. I picked it up pretty early. He took time to understand all of that, just as I mentioned right at the start. But just, coming back to cricket, do you watch a lot of it? Do you get chance? Kabhi you pick up the bat in the house, thoda shadow practice kar leta hu.
It doesn't happen so often. Earlier I used to. Even after I stopped playing, I used to a little bit go around and practice. Sometimes also with Mumbai Indians, I used to get the bowlers to bowl to me. But no, not really, not off late. Only when we played those couple of tournaments in the last 2 years, that is when I practice, because I believe whenever I have a cricket bat in my hand, it should be serious business. It should not be for fun. yes, I mean, fun element, passion will always be there with me. But when you're representing India, then nothing should be taken for granted. And that's my formula. My coach, my family, my brother, everyone told me that whenever you have a bat in your hand, don't fool around.
Yeah, and whenever you had bat in your hand, it was like you had a magic wand. You would do magic on the cricket field. So the audience present here, very special treat for them. You have no idea about it, because I thought you've seen him do a lot of magic on the cricket field. Today I'll get him to do some magic here, live, in front of all of you. See, the thing is that he's played 664 international games, 781 innings internationally. But there's a thing that people say about Sachin Tendulkar. He remembers every one of his dismissals. I could pick up any match out of those 781 international innings that he's played over a time of 24 years. And rumor has it that he remembers every dismissal. So what I thought today, I am going to test him. Let me see if that magic is true. I've got your few innings, and I made it tough for you. What I've done is, I've not taken the famous ones. If you ask Rahul, Vikrant, Shweta, all of us would know your famous innings and how you got out. What I've done is nondescript innings, not really the ones that would be there in public memory. So we'll see Sachin Tendulkar's magic on stage, live. This is for the very first time. You ready for it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust rumors, so it's okay.
Let's go for it. Okay, so I take you back to 1990. That is your first tour to England. We all remember your famous 100 in Manchester, but I'll ask you about that game that you played before that, your first ever game at Lord's. I'll give you a bit of clue. You got out for 10 runs in the first innings. Can you tell me how you got out?
Bowled Chris Lewis. Chris Lewis was bowling from pavilion end, and I tried to play towards mid-wicket, missed the line and got bowled right.
Yeah, I only had Chris Lewis. He can tell you the...
Second inning में अगर बताना है तो अभी बता देता हूँ कि second inning में
वो मुझे नहीं पता, I
got
didn't
out to
research.
Angus Fraser just outside off stump, caught in second slip.
Just incredible, huh? I mean, I tell people that, for me, doing shows is like you playing innings. You asked me 3 shows ago what I did, what I asked. No clue. But you can remember every inning that you've played. Incredible. But the test is not done yet. I'm taking you now to February 1992, the first World Cup game that you ever played. That was a game against England at Perth. You were out for 35.
Ian Botham caught behind, so
Yeah, caught Stewart, bowled Botham.
I didn't particularly enjoy that reaction after Botham got me out. So थोड़ा अंदर fire था.
True, 2-on-2. March 1996, everyone remembers the semi-final, but I'm taking you to, again, a random league game that was played right here in New Delhi versus Sri Lanka. You got 137 runs.
That's easy. I got a run out. Last ball tha, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 50th over, and Chaminda Boss was bowling to me. I tried to play a big shot. The ball went straight to the bowler, थोड़ा right side में था उसके. I thought last ball है, एक run तो एक run, वो अगर miss करता है stump को, तो I still score 1 extra run for the team. And I took a chance. I was out by like 10 yards. He got me run out. But it was the last ball of the innings, I think.
Incredible. February 2001, first test. We all remember the Eden Gardens test match, Wankhede test match. The first test match versus Australia. I want you to tell me first innings. You got 76.
I scored 76. Glenn McGrath bowling from pavilion end, I got caught behind. Gilchrist.
Correct. Correct.
Second innings I was batting well. And I got out to Mark Waugh. I played a pull shot. I think Justin Langer ke back pe laga and Ponting took a diving catch at short mid wicket.
I didn't research that. Okay. 2011 World Cup game. It's a tight game versus England, played in Bengaluru. You got 120 runs.
काफी easy सवाल पूछ रहे हैं मुझे तो. I think it's like
I had to research all
rank
this.
half volley उसको मारो. Anderson, I got out Anderson कुछ in a power play. I tried to flick. थोड़ा बॉल स्लो आया, मुझे लगा जिससे I played too early, got the leading edge and caught it cover.
Yeah, caught Yardi, bowled Anderson, correct. Achha, you said easy sawal. Final question, I'm going to up the tempo. So not going to ask you about your dismissals now that you've proven you know every dismissal of yours out of those 781. Today is 17th March. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, the only man to reach 100 hundreds, yesterday was the anniversary of the day that he reached his 100 hundreds versus Bangladesh. 11th anniversary, I might add. So what I'm going to tell you is not your dismissal. 17 March, you scored 100. And remember, he must have played for 24 years, so many 17th Marches there. You scored 100, can you tell me?
मेरा नॉलेज इतना भी ज़्यादा अच्छा नहीं है, थोड़ा कुछ आइडिया दो और I don't know.
Okay. No, you said up the tempo, so I have, gone one level higher. Okay, it was, you want me to tell you the opposition or the venue?
You'll have to tell me opposition, then I...
Opposition, South Africa. Year, should I?
In Baroda, I scored 100.
Correct.
In Baroda.
Baroda, he got the
we were
100.
chasing.
So you saw magic. Absolutely incredible. As I said, I can't remember, 5 shows ago that I did. You remember every dismissal. Absolutely incredible. Okay. Now I'm going to get into the serious stuff. Let's talk about cricket. And I think the biggest headline at the moment in the world of cricket is, the test series that just got over. Plenty spoken about the pitches, games getting over in 2.5 days. What do you make of, in general, the health of test cricket?
I think we need to understand one thing, that test cricket should be engaging and it should not be about how many days does it last, 5 days or whatever. We are meant to play on different surfaces, be it a bouncy track, fast track, slow track, turning track, whatever that may be, swinging conditions, seaming conditions, with different balls. You have Dukes, you have Kookaburra, you have SS, you have SG, different balls. And that is what makes test cricket challenging. So when you tour, they are not easy conditions. You need to understand what's happening, assess everything, and then start planning things. So for me, the most important factor is the kind of surface that we play on, because that is the heart of test cricket. If we've got 2 formats which are heavily tilted towards batters. So one is T20, where there is action literally every ball. Batters are looking to attack. In ODIs today, if you look at 310, 320 is a normal total. It's nothing extraordinary. And that is because of various rules being introduced. So these 2 formats are heavily tilted towards batters. So I strongly believe that to keep spectators engaged, to have more eyeballs, because that is what everyone wants. You speak to anyone, all the guys, including ICC, MCC, everyone, we are talking about test cricket. How can test cricket continue to be #1 format? So if we want that, then we need to have something for bowlers, because bowlers ask a question every ball and batter has to answer that. So if that question itself is not interesting enough, how are you going to have more eyeballs? You're not going to have more eyeballs. There has to be some action, something in the pitch for a bowler to ask that question. If you keep a dead track, then, bowler thinks, oh, there's not much help for me. I better play around with batter's patience. The batter is thinking there is nothing much happening of the surface. I should not do anything stupid. Just play within my limits. And what happens? The end result is not interesting cricket. People lose interest. And newer generation, if you want to catch their attention, then the game has to be attractive enough, exciting enough to stay glued to television sets or inside the stadium. And for that, how the bowler starts becomes extremely critical. So we should not get too much into the kind of pitches. Yes, everyone wants the test match to go on for a longer period. But if it doesn't last for 5 days and cricket is interesting, cricket is exciting, that is what matters, and that is what is going to keep test cricket alive and continue to have test cricket at number one spot.
Right. So do you feel that we are obsessed with the number of days that it's going till? That shouldn't be
We
there.
should not be bothered too much about number of days. I feel it should be whether the match was exciting enough or not. Was it boring? Did it last for 5 days and no result? Nobody wants to go back home not knowing who's won and who's lost. Everyone wants to know, and more so because, like I said, in T20, everyone is now used to watching sixes and fours. How many guys go there and watch a great spell? I mean, it happens in number of countries in the world. But here also, if instead of a fast bowler bowling an opening spell, why cannot be a spinner bowling a wonderful spell? It's just a different kind of surface that we are playing on. And that should also be challenging enough for batters to go out there and express themselves. If somebody has batted well, he gets runs. Simple.
Yeah, I think it was the traditional powerhouses in cricket that probably set this norm that, fast bowlers should dominate on day one. But, the world order is changing in cricket. Let it be spinners, who dominate on day one. So be it, as he says, the game has to be exciting. That is, the larger context of the macro picture of Test cricket. Let me talk to you about another format, a format where you excelled at. That was ODI cricket. We're getting various opinions. I read Ravi Shastri recently say that ODI cricket may not go on for very long. Make it 40 overs. That may make it exciting. I heard Dinesh Karthik say recently that this 50-over World Cup that you've got probably is the last 50-over World Cup we'll see. What do you see, or what do you foresee, in fact, for ODI cricket? How's ODI cricket's health?
It's getting monotonous without any doubt. There are two parts to it. One is the current format, and the next, which I feel it should be played. Let me talk about the current format. The current format, which has been there for a while now, is 2 new balls. When you have 2 new balls, you've kind of eliminated reverse swing. Even though we are in the 40th over of a game, it is actually just the 20th over of that ball. And the ball only starts reversing around 30th over or so, and there is a bit of discoloration. The ball starts getting soft. So if you don't get it right, if a batter doesn't get it right, it's not going to carry all the way. And when the ball starts discoloring, then, to pick the ball, to pick the shiny and the rough side becomes difficult. And that element is missing today because of 2 new balls. Yes. Also, for spinners, I've spoken to a few spinners, and then for them, I was just trying to understand their mindset with 5 fielders in the ring. And I said that, for example, if an off spinner is bowling, a standard field is a short fine leg, deep square leg, deep mid wicket, short mid wicket, and long on. You have long off, cover, point, and third man, or sometimes bring the long off up, put deep point if someone is playing reverse sweep. But 5 fielders are in the ring. So what the bowlers are saying that we don't have the freedom to change our line. We have to stick to middle stump. And even if we know that there is a possibility of batter making a mistake if we change our line, but the price that we end up paying is too heavy. It could be a boundary, and I don't want to give a boundary, just wanting to experiment something. But whereas if we have that extra protection, then I can always do that, but they don't have that today. So the current format, I feel, is heavy on bowlers. It's really, really challenging with 5 fielders in the ring and 2 new balls. And then coming to the second bit, which I feel is we should be playing 25 overs first. So divide that into 4 halves. It's like Test cricket. So 4 innings, but in Test cricket you have 20 wickets. In this format, you only have 10 wickets. So if you are dismissed, you're out of the game for the next 25 overs as well. You don't come back and bat again. Because anyways, we are looking to have that balance. And why I feel this, because I had played a tournament long back in Sri Lanka. We played 118 overs without any result, because the first day Sri Lanka batted first. They played all 50 overs. We batted 10 overs. The match was rained off. No result. We turn up the next evening. Sri Lanka again bat first. We bat for 8-10 overs. The match was again called off because of the rain. So we almost ended up playing 118, 120 overs without any result, declared as joint winners.
Yeah.
So here, if you have 25 overs, and then the other side comes and bats for 25 overs, and then you bat again for 25 hours, at least you've completed 25 overs each. And if the forecast is bad, then you plan differently. You plan your first 25 hours. Do you want to get to 230, 240 in first 25 hours? With, we are okay to lose 7 wickets or 8 wickets, but let's score more runs because later on it might rain. So all these unpredictabilities will come into play. Right now the game is becoming too predictable. From 15th, 12th, 15th over to 40th over, it's kind of losing its momentum. There are not enough eyeballs. It's getting boring. So how do we balance that out? How do we balance out the due factor? Because if a captain has lost the toss and he has to bat first and bowl second when there are wet conditions, it becomes really, really difficult to grip the ball. So both teams bowl in the first half and bowl in the second half. Commercially also it makes sense because you get 3 breaks. True. I know, because that element is also important. So the challenges were different. The earlier format, there was a different challenge. Earlier format, there used to be day matches. When I played, actually, there was quite some time ago, there used to be day matches. So one had to deal with the first spell in the first half of the match, and the second half of the match, in sunny conditions, the wicket obviously got better, but there was a period when the surface also dried up and spinners got some help. So that element is missing because of the dew factor. So how can we, just by the spin of a coin, you can't literally decide the result of the game. Yeah. It's more or less become that if you're chasing, you play really, really badly, then you lose. But otherwise, the match is alive. So those factors are really important, is what I feel, to reduce the gap between the two teams only because of that coin.
Yeah, you spoke like a true batsman. You gave that example कि हमने 180 over bowling की पर batting नहीं दी Sri Lanka ने, just as most batsmen would say. But I think the idea that he's given, and I think that's a great idea, out of the box idea. I hope the custodians of the game can listen to that, because this year, as you know, the World Cup is in India in October, and you're going to have a lot of dew and a lot of matches that are going to be dependent on the toss. And how do you eliminate that? I think that's a great idea that Sachin's just come up with on our platform. But you were talking about this imbalance between bat and ball, right? You were talking about the time that you played. No 2 new balls, so the ball would get soft. The other thing that would happen at that time was you sometimes played in the morning with the red ball. But what do you make of this other aspect which allowed bowlers some sort of control, which was using the saliva? It helped the ball. They could prepare the ball, and you're not using any artificial elements. You're using something which is natural, just as you use the sweat. That was taken away during the COVID time, but now they've made it permanent. What do you make of that?
Well, I'm no medical expert, first of all, but I think it should be back without any doubt, because it's happened over 100 years. Guys have used saliva and nothing drastic has happened. Yes, couple of years in between were challenging for everyone, and rightly so that decision was taken. But now it's behind us, by not allowing guys to use saliva. I think it's something that should be considered. And if we are talking about unhygienic, then, I've seen guys putting a ball under their armpit.
Yes. Happens a lot.
So that, what are they doing? They're applying sweat. Is that hygienic? No, I don't think so. It sounds a little awkward, but I think, application of saliva does two things. There are two types of reverse swing. I don't want to get too technical, but one is that you don't wet the ball much. You just wet little bit, and that's when most of the times you use saliva, especially when the ball is new. You only work on very small damaged areas and shine the ball. The texture of saliva is slightly different compared to your sweat. So
You said you're no medical expert.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no medical expert, so that was my first statement. So you continue to keep the ball light. It is shiny. One side gets scruffed up as the game progresses, and the shiny side, that imbalance in friction, the ball starts swinging. And the other way to swing a ball is you make one side heavy, and the other side continues to stay light. So we don't touch the other side of the ball at all. So it is always held in fingers, not in your palms. Only when you have to catch the ball, then you use the palm. But otherwise, when you're shining the ball or keeping one side wet, then you make sure that the other side stays completely dry. So that imbalance in the weight helps you swing the ball. So these kind of things are really, really important for a bowler. And can you imagine, I mean, tomorrow I go to a dressing room and I tell the batters, from now on, you cannot loft the ball. You have to play only along the ground. So it is as bad as that for bowlers. And I haven't played in these conditions. Yes, we played a couple of series, but not at that level. But I've spoken to bowlers, and the bowlers would want saliva to come back in the game. So I feel it's an important element which should be considered.
It's lovely to see a batsman stand up for the rights of the bowlers, or is that the bowler in you, the off spinner,
I got
the leg
reasonable
spinner?
amount of wickets, so I would want to consider myself as a bowler because I
Yes, you did.
I bowled in the nets. I enjoyed doing that. So
what sort of a bowler were you? Were you an off spinner? Were you a leg spinner? Were
I'm
you
still
a medium?
figuring out.
Yeah.
It depends on the condition of the ball. If the ball
Yes.
was new, then I preferred seam bowling. If the ball was semi-new, then I bowled off spin. The ball got old, leg spin. By then, the second new ball came, so I was again back in the action.
Absolutely incredible. Incredible what he could do with not just with the bat but with the ball as well. Okay, I'm just going to switch gears. Right now, the WPL is happening. Have you been watching the matches? What do you make of it? Any changes you recommend?
Fantastic. First of all, a big congratulations to BCCI because this is a great initiative. And like I said, I mean, first innings was played well by BCCI. Now, second innings, we all have to support. We all have to support women cricketers. I think they are doing a magnificent job. I'm really impressed by the fielding standards, their athleticism. It's just blown my mind. It's incredible. It's fast, it's exciting, and good cricket should always be encouraged. They are fiercely competitive, and I know how IPL is played, and this is a beginning of WPL. I feel every day starts with some expectation, and when you go back home, you've had some experience. So this is the beginning with some expectations, and I'm sure it's going to leave us with some great experiences. And I really want to congratulate all the teams, all the women cricketers who've turned up here. This is a beginning of something really big, not just for India, but cricket.
Yeah, let's just hope. Let's just hope. Just another thing on the WPL. What do you make of different rules that they've got for WPL compared to the men's game?
Again, one fielder is extra inside the
Yes.
ring. They play with 5 fielders inside the ring. I would have 4 fielders inside the ring, so fair balance between bat and the ball, because anyways in this format, batters are looking to score runs, looking to play big shots. That extra fielder outside the ring is only fair to a bowler.
maybe that is also something that can be looked at. Shweta, my colleague, she follows women's sports a lot, had a question for you. Go ahead,
I
Shweta.
follow all sports, Nikhil. But Sachin, you've been an idol not just for men, but for women sports persons, women athletes as well. What bothers me is that I definitely remember beaming Saina Nehwal when Sachin Tendulkar handed over keys to her brand new car because she idolized you. There have been plenty. But what bothers me is that there has been one Sania Mirza, one Saina Nehwal, one PV Sindhu. Do you think the time has come? Has women's sports arrived? Or should we be a little more patient? Because what do you make of the scene?
Without any doubt, they have arrived. I mean, and you need heroes. You know, basically you idolize them. As a kid, you worship them, you want to emulate. Whatever they have been able to achieve in life, you want to follow their footsteps. And there are so many big names, just to name a few, Mary Kom, P.T. Usha, you grew up watching her, Saina, like you said, Sindhu, Sania has just retired, and all these women, so many of them, they've brought laurels to our nation. I feel this is a beginning of something really, really big. This is a journey where one needs to constantly keep working on, and it includes infrastructure, the platforms that they have to express their talent is important. Now there are more platforms for them to express, for the whole world to see what they are capable of. Till now, they played, but the coverage was not there, the following was not there, appreciation was not there. So there is no better tonic for any athlete when opportunities, the platform, and appreciation of having done well come together. So when these three things come together, that is the greatest tonic any athlete can have. And that just inspires you to push harder, to take that extra step further. And that is what we need. So it is not, we cannot be pointing fingers at so and so is not doing anything for us. It is our responsibility. In whatever capacity, if we all individuals can step forward and support them, the results will follow.
Okay, I'm going to bring you back to cricket because there's another thing that I wanted your opinion on, DRS. Now that wasn't there when you were playing. Let me ask you, you remember every inning of yours? Now tell me, going back.
Don't tell me to name umpires.
No, but I will ask you to do that. Now tell me, how many of those dismissals, if you had the chance today, would you have referred to the DRS?
Utna to nahi pata, but yeah, quite a few. Quite a few. I cannot count them on my fingers for sure.
Has it changed the game? Sachin Tendulkar sitting here, hundreds, plenty of runs. But imagine if you had the benefit of DRS. What do you make of the use of technology? And do you ever wonder, I wish I had it during my playing days?
Yeah, I would have loved it without any doubt, because some decisions go in your favor, some decisions go against you as well. So I would have loved it, but I'm still not clear in my head. When DRS players, either a batting side or a bowling side refers to DRS, the third umpire comes into play, and sometimes a batter is given out, and sometimes batter continues to bat, and the ball is still hitting the top of off, but the batter still continues to bat. I mean, in reality, if the ball hits top of off, batter goes back. I mean, no way the bails are not going to be dislodged. Yes, because of technology, a lot of things are happening. The bails are heavier. And I just recently I saw a video where the bail was kind of dislodged. Yeah. The lights also came on.
Yeah, but it didn't.
Players almost celebrated and the bail went back again. Yes. So all these things are happening because of technology. But we are only pointing fingers at technology, that technology is not foolproof. So are humans. I mean, before DRS, there were blatant mistakes made. And because of those blatant mistakes, the matches were either lost or won because of some third person deciding your fate. So I completely disagree with the current format. To me, I'm very clear, if the ball is hitting the stump, it's out. If it's not,
Yeah.
batter continues to bat. So
The umpires call you want
somebody
it out.
is unhappy with the on-field umpire's decision. It may be the batter or the bowler. And that's why you go to the third umpire. So why are you going back again to the decision maker who somebody is unhappy with? They disagree with that decision.
Because they say it's not 100% proof technology, so let's go back to the umpire.
But I mean, humans also made mistakes, right? Umpires. I have been part of many matches where which has cost us a game because of bad umpiring.
Tell us some. You
So-
remember something that's
No, there are many games that way. I mean, blatant mistakes. So those kind of mistakes, I mean, are, according to me, I mean, really, really hard to digest. Because in the end, it decides the outcome of the game. So what is so different between a human error and technology error? It is, if you've decided to go that route, you might as well go that route. I mean, it's like, I have this cup, थोड़ा चाय भी डालते हैं और थोड़ा coffee भी डालते हैं. It doesn't work. You need to either have tea or have coffee in that. But what we are trying to do is we are mixing both things.
Yeah.
And I disagree.
Okay, we're running out of time. My dear friend and colleague Vikrant, he'll kill me if I don't allow him to ask a question. Go ahead.
Sachin, 20 years of the India Today conclave and 20 years to that 2003 World Cup final between India and Australia. And maybe that's when the journey began for Indian cricket. So we just won the Border Gavaskar Trophy. We made it to the World Test Championship final, June. Could this be India's first ICC title in 10 years?
Yeah, I think we've played well, and we have a good team. We have a balanced team. Yes, in those conditions, like I said earlier, you'll have to see the conditions. You'll have to see the surface, overhead conditions, and then also the forecast comes into play. Like I said in ODI cricket, the forecast will also come into play with the new things that I'm suggesting. Similarly, here in Test cricket also, we'll have to understand overhead conditions for next 5 days, and then accordingly pick the squad. It would be slightly challenging for a captain to have extra spinners in the team. So that balance we'll have to get it right. And I'm only thinking from India's point of view. Let Australians think what they want to do. I'm just thinking of what we should be doing. We stand a very good chance.
Supreji had a question, yeah.
सचिन 2011 में इंडिया में वर्ल्ड कप हुआ था, उसके बाद 2023 में वर्ल्ड कप हो रहा है. आप कैसे देखते हैं 2011 में कैसी तैयारी थी, तब हम चैंपियन हुए थे, क्या 2023 में हम चैंपियन बन सकते हैं फिर से?
बिल्कुल, मैं तो ऑलवेज ऑप्टिमिस्टिक हूँ और यही सोचता हूँ कि 2000
जो पहले उस समय आपकी तैयारी थी, आप लगता है कि टीम उसी तरह से तैयार हो रही है अभी भी, जैसे आपने 2011 की तैयारी की थी?
आई थिंक मैं यही समझता हूँ कि सभी प्लेयर्स, मोस्ट ऑफ द प्लेयर्स काफ़ी क्रिकेट खेल चुके हैं, तो उन्हें पता है कि क्या करना है और क्या नहीं करना है. ऑफ कोर्स होम वर्ल्ड कप एक्सपेक्टेशंस अलग होते हैं, क्योंकि आप जब इंडिया के बाहर जाते हो तो थोड़ा बाहर वाला क्राउड भी मिक्स हो जाता है. बट दैट इज़ बिकमिंग लेस एंड लेस कि जहाँ भी जाओ. मुझे इंग्लैंड में कुछ समय पहले लोग कह रहे थे कि यार ये लग ही नहीं रहा है कि हम इंग्लैंड में हैं, और ये इंग्लिश लोग कह रहे थे मुझे ये लग रहा है कि हम इंडिया में. आई एम ग्लैड, फील एट होम, डोंट वरी. तो ये एक अलग एक्सपीरियंस होता है व्हेन द क्राउड गेट्स बिहाइंड यू. उनका सपोर्ट इज़ प्राइसलेस, इट्स मैचलेस, एंड दैट इज़ व्हाट द टीम वांट्स. प्रेपरेशन तो हर प्लेयर करेगा विदाउट एनी डाउट. सिर्फ फिज़िकल प्रेपरेशन नहीं, मगर मेंटल प्रेपरेशन भी उसके लिए ज़रूरी होता है, क्योंकि आप जो सोचते हो उसे एक्शन फॉलो करते हैं. सो इफ़ यू आर थिंकिंग राइट, देन it's seen, that positive energy, that fluidity in your body, जो एक smooth movements होते हैं और कभी कभी restricted movements होते हैं. तो that is seen because some days you are thinking right, some days you are not, and it's human to go that way, मगर वो दिखाई देते हैं. So I'm just wishing our team all the very best. I'm very hopeful.
एक बात और है सचिन कि लास्ट 2 BCCI प्रेसिडेंट्स जो हैं क्रिकेटर बने हैं, अच्छी बात है. पहले सौरव गांगुली बने, फिर रोजर बिन्नी बने हैं अभी. क्या आप कभी बीसीसीआई में आएंगे या कभी आपको हम लोग ऐसा किसी रोल में देख
नहीं,
सकते हैं?
मैंने इतनी ज़्यादा फास्ट बॉलिंग नहीं की बिकॉज सौरव स्टिल कंसिडर्ड हिमसेल्फ एज अ फास्ट बॉलर। मुझे याद है जब सौरव ने टोरंटो में विकेट निकाले थे तो सौरव मुझे ऑलमोस्ट कहने लगे यार मेरा मैं थोड़ा और दम लगाऊंगा तो 140 तक जा सकता हूँ। बोला दादा तो जा सकता है। उसने 2 दिन प्रैक्टिस की और पीठ पकड़ी उसकी एंड देन आफ्टर दैट ही इज़ नेवर स्पोकन अबाउट 140। मैं 140 नहीं डाल सकता हूँ।
Okay, we're completely done on time, but before we go, another treat for everyone who's here. We've got a few images of yours. These are rare, unseen. A lot of these images of Sachin Tendulkar, probably they'll come in as a surprise to him as well. I want you to react on those. Quick ones, can we have those, please? This one, tell us what is happening here. I had to really dig the archives.
ये तो अंदाज अपना अपना कि मूवी का मुहूर्त है।
अच्छा, मुहूर्त shots they used to have.
Yeah. This was shot, if I'm not mistaken, at Mehboob Studio. All 4 of them, अभी obviously I knew them, मगर did not know them personally ऐसे कि अभी मैं जानता हूँ काफ़ी लोगों को, मगर उस समय मैं नहीं जानता था, इतना पहचान नहीं थी, but I knew कि ना obviously हमारे actors हैं. I had played I think in Pakistan and before going to New Zealand उन्होंने मुझे पूछा था कि क्या आप आ सकते हो, कुछ नहीं करना है, सिर्फ नारियल तोड़ना है और कुछ नहीं करना है। I said okay, ठीक है. That was my only occasion.
No, you were lucky because this holds the record for most home videos ever sold, this film. It was a cult film. They should have called you for more Muhurat shots after that. Next one. What is happening here and who are you dressed as?
I'm just checking कि अभी तो है नहीं ना mustache वगैरह। नहीं, this was on my first tour of Pakistan. We were not allowed to go out anywhere. So this was in 1989 and I was only 16, officially, genuinely 16. तो उस समय media and the team, we were staying in the same hotel and we thought why not get together. It was my first tour. It was never done before, but we decided to have Sunday club और सब वहाँ पे आएंगे. We'll just have good food, enjoy each other's company, mix around because we were not allowed to go out anywhere. So in those days ये सारी चीज़ें हुआ करती थी.
Who are you
I'm not
dressed
sure
as?
अभी हो रही कि नहीं, मगर
Who are you dressed as? Is there somebody in particular or just?
हेयर स्टाइलिस्ट मेरी तो नहीं
गब्बर
मेरी
सिंह
तो
or
यही
someone?
थी कि कोई ऑप्शन तभी उस समय कुछ हेयर स्टाइल वगैरह नहीं थी. आज आई नो देयर इज लॉट ऑफ अटेंशन पेड टू कैसे
Yeah.
लुक्स है और क्या है. आई डिड नॉट थिंक ऑफ दैट मच.
Next one, talking about hairstyles. See that? That is a young Sachin. We remember the one holding the bat, but this is a rare picture of his.
या आई एम अ 4-year-old सचिन हियर. मुझे एक्चुअली स्कूल में और जहाँ जहाँ जाता था मुझे टीचर्स वगैरह भी साई बाबा कहते थे क्योंकि मैं हेयर स्टाइल वॉज लाइक दिस. मगर आई वॉज एक्सट्रीमली अ नॉटी किड. यहाँ दिख रहा है कि ना सीसॉ पे हूँ मैं और स्लाइड पे हूँ और काफ़ी ऊंची थी ये स्लाइड बट आई वॉज काइंड ऑफ फियरलेस. आई मीन आई ऑलवेज वांटेड टू do all these things, always up to mischiefs, and my parents, I don't know how they stayed patient with me for so long.
That mischief is the one that made you a cricketer because you were sent to a cricket academy. So good on that. Next one. This is you playing the tabla. I know you're a big Kishore Kumar fan, a Zakir Hussain fan too.
Yes, they're great artist. I mean,
Yeah.
Zakir Bhai, obviously, I mean, I've had the honor of meeting him, spending time with him. We had a meal together. I've been a huge fan of Kishore Kumar as well. But ये हमारा ऐसे ही हम एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे थे. This was somewhere in the 90s. ऐसा दिखाई दे रहा है तो ये शायद कलकत्ता हो सकता है.
Okay.
एंड संजय लव्ड सिंगिंग. तो मैंने कहा कि चलो मैं कंपनी देता हूँ, दो आई कैन नॉट प्ले तबला. मैंने कहा कि जो भी तबला बजाए ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत हम कर सकते हैं. एंड संजय डजंट माइंड कि बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक क्या चल रहा है, वो उसका काम करता है.
Okay, the penultimate one.
थर्ड वन इज प्रवीण आमरे.
That's Praveen Amre, yes.
Third one is Praveen Amre. So I think this was Praveen's first India series.
Ah.
We played
He debuted
India.
in South Africa.
So he played in South Africa, and
Yes.
after that we came to India and played against England.
Okay. penultimate one. Do you recognize, I don't know how many of you recognize the gentleman sitting to his right? That's correct.
उसके कपड़ों का क्या हुआ है?
Was he like shooting? Was he, or was
No,
he a-
I didn't know. I didn't know. I mean, I was shooting a commercial. He came and said that, can I click a picture with you?
So he
I
came
said,
as a
of course,
fan.
why not?
As a fan, not as
but
an-
I mean, I met him after that. He's a wonderful guy, and I loved his work. He's very, very creative, very imaginative, and he's not shy of taking challenges, accepting challenges,
Yeah.
doing different roles, and I thoroughly enjoy his acting. So I wish him all the very best.
Okay, final picture for that. I need you to get up because we're going to recreate this moment. It's 20 years of India today. It's 20 years of the most iconic shot ever played on the cricket field. Many fans have voted for this. This was a 60 hit of Shoaib Akhtar in the game versus Pakistan. And what we're going to do live is after 10 years or 20 years, we're going to get him to recreate that shot live for you. It's never happened. Just pose for us in that shot. Firstly, was that an uppercut? What was it? Shoaib Akhtar was bowling. High pressure game. 1st March, I think, 2003.
हाँ, yeah, I know. और उसके पहले बहुत sleepless nights हो चुके थे क्योंकि India Pakistan game is always a big game. लोगों ने almost when they got to know close to maybe 10 months और 1 साल पहले ही बात करनी शुरू की थी बाकी के गेम्स का जो भी हो जाए ठीक है ये गेम जीतना है. तो I said, what do you mean? नहीं ये गेम जीत के आओ. तो उस तरह का प्रेशर था, एक्सपेक्टेशंस थे. वो ज़्यादा तेज़ नहीं है, ऐसे 150 पे डाल रहा था. अगर गलत टाइम पे आप ब्लिंक कर जाओ तो बॉल निकल जाता था. मगर these kind of shots are not planned. अगर आपको दिख जाता है बॉल and if you have time to play, then you go for it. And that is exactly what happened. कि मैंने देखा कि बॉल थोड़ा सा ऑफ स्टंप के बाहर है.
I'm going to get away because the camera people don't want me.
And short है. तो basically I'm going to just show you why it's hard to replicate. But saw the ball, hit the length. First I thought, shall I let it go? And I thought, नहीं बाहर है, I can do it. So I do swing it. That was right. That's it.
All right, Sachin Tendulkar, thank you so much for, pouring your heart out, giving us an insight in the man that Sachin Tendulkar is. Ladies and gentlemen, the first man to score an ODI double 100, the only one to get 100, Sachin Tendulkar. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it off to Sachinism and his idea of India. I request Sachin to stay on stage. Nikhil, stay on stage. I would request Mr. Tendulkar to stay on stage as I quickly call upon Joynil Mukherjee, Executive Director, RPSG Group, to come up on stage and present a small token of our appreciation to, ladies and gentlemen, Sachin Tendulkar. Our session sponsor, RP Sanjeev Goenka Group.
Can I say a big thank you to the team that got the backdrop as well? Incredible. You know what Naveen and Nilanjan and Bandeep have been able to do. Sachin himself was very impressed. So big thank you for that.
मैच से जुड़े आपके हर सवाल का हम देंगे जवाब. जानने के लिए हर अपडेट, लाइव एनालिसिस, स्पेशल इंटरव्यूज, डाउनलोड कीजिए स्पोर्ट्स तक ऐप.